Is flood insurance in Florida mandatory? I'm glad you asked. That's what we're talking about in today's video. So let's get started. Hello, my name's Chris Greer, president and owner of the Flood Insurance Guru, and more than 12 years ago, I bought a house in a flood zone just like this. And I didn't know that flood insurance was mandatory on the house at the time, and it almost cost me thousands of dollars. So today we're answering the question of, is flood insurance mandatory in Florida? Now, before we can figure out if flood insurance is mandatory, you gotta understand what flood zones we're talking about here, because it has a lot to do with it. We're talking about something with flood zone X, or B as in boy, or even D as in dog, or C as in cat. Generally, flood insurance is not gonna be required because the federal government calls these lower risk flood zones, even though 30% of flood claims come out of these areas. Areas generally where flood insurance is going to be required for Florida are going to be things that begin with A as in apple or V as in Victor. A as in apple is going to be special flood hazard areas, also called the 100-year flood area. These are a 1% annual chance of flooding. Remember, that's just a probability. It doesn't mean it can't happen multiple times in a year. Then there's that V zone. These are coastal areas that are usually right around the water like this right here that have that concern of storm surge, coastal flooding. These areas also are going to be mandatory in Florida because they fall in the special flood hazard area. Now that we understand those flood zones, when is it going to be mandatory in Florida? It's going to be mandatory if you have an additional interest on your property or if you're taking out a federally backed mortgage. Another potential situation might be if you've taken out disaster assistance from a previous flood event, they could potentially require you to have flood insurance in Florida. So, would love for you to subscribe to our channel. Do that down below. Share, like it, comment. Let us know what other videos you may want to know about when it comes to flood insurance in Florida. My name's Chris Greer, president and owner of the Flood Insurance Guru, and I want to say thank you for watching today's video on, is flood insurance mandatory in Florida?